In this episode, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to raise backyard chickens. I mean, there's a million videos on the internet, on YouTube about backyard chickens, but if you've never had chickens before, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to just raise these chickens. Get you some eggs, and you can determine if it's worth it or not. I'll tell you a few things about these chickens as well. Although snacks are not a required feature, they're nice to have. We got a little bit of scratch and some mealworms. We got us Miss Cocky. We got us Frida. And these two are Easter eggers. These two lay brown eggs. So she lays a brown egg. She lays a really dark brown egg. That's a barred rock. I think that's a black star. And then we got two that are just called Easter eggers. So they can lay anywhere from a blue to a bluish green. Now, they love snacks, by the way. First things first, you need some sort of chicken coop. So whether you buy that from Tractor Supply, whether you make your own or not, you just need one. Now, mine is mobile. I can move it around the yard. If you make one that's stationary, they will tear up the grass. So that grass would all be gone if I didn't move that. And just a matter of probably a week. So it can become messy, and if you're gonna have a stationary one, you probably need to make it where you can walk inside of it. But since that's mobile, I can just move it around. You can kind of see where they were at different points. You can kind of see the level of the grass. It's time to mow, huh? With that said, they poop a lot. So if it's stationary, you are gonna have to clean. I mean, chickens poop a lot. That's one thing you gotta know. So what we have, it's good to have some oyster shells. We got a little feeder for oyster shells. Another thing you need a feeder and a waterer. There's different feeders and waterers on the internet. We just happened to come by these pretty cheap, so we took them. They make no waste feeders. So okay, we got something to give them oyster shells. We got food. We got water. It's good to have some poultry grit. You probably don't need a bag that big. Especially if you just have some backyard chickens. We'll probably never go through that, but we got it on sale, so I just bought it. You're gonna need some grit. That helps them digest their food properly. You need some food, okay? A lot of places you can get food at Tractor Supply, obviously. I don't know if you can even see that. Give you some. You need food. Alright, you're gonna need some food. Get that at Tractor Supply as well. This is the scratch. Don't have to have scratch. We have it. It's just a snack. Like I said, you're gonna need some oyster shells. This is just a calcium supplement to give them really, really good eggs. Alright. Hopefully there's plenty of light in here. We use pine shavings from Tractor Supply. This will last for months on end. I mean, we've had them for about 2 or 3 months, and we're nowhere near going through this. That's to help with the liquid, stuff like that. We just put a little bit of that in there. And then last but not least, you need some straw. Again, we got one bale, compressed bale from we got one compressed bale from Tractor Supply, and it's lasted forever. And that is for them to lay eggs, and then also you can put it down in their bedpan, you know, where they put a roost. If you can let them free range, they love it. They'll keep the bugs away. They love crickets, all that stuff. And almost everything you can get at Tractor Supply. So actually everything you can get at Tractor Supply, I'll kind of link some of the things. But you do need a place where they can roost. They're gonna need a roost, and then they need a place to lay eggs. It's cleaning day, but there's our egg layer. And in here, that's where they sleep. And you gotta have a roost. They like to be up off the ground, even if it's just that high. They just want to be up off the ground. So I'm about to clean that out. And that brings me to my next point. You need a place to get rid of chicken poop, because we're gonna clean that out and then we gotta throw it away. Well, I have about 5-6 acres of woods back there to throw my stuff in. You may not be so lucky, so you're gonna have to find a way, something to do with that, whether it be compost it, whatever you're gonna do, but they are gonna generate a lot. That's 2 days worth in there, 2 days. So you're gonna generate let me tell you something. When I say chickens poop a lot, I mean chickens poop a lot. So they generate a lot of waste. So you're gonna have to have a place that you're gonna getting rid of this stuff. Whether you're putting it in a compost for your vegetable garden or what, you're gonna need it. But with all that said, get eggs. I mean, you feed them good, they're gonna give you probably 5 eggs a week, and that's these. If you get actual egg layers, they could possibly produce an egg a day for you. So you got to keep that in consideration. It's just me and my wife. We've got 4 chickens, so we get way more eggs than we can eat in a week. So we give those away. You could sell them, but you know, look around before you try to go that route, because a lot of people probably are selling eggs. So just 2 maybe. You always want a pair at least. So don't get carried away. But if you have a big family, 4 chickens would be great. You know, you're gonna run into about 20 to 25 eggs a day, and you got a big family and they like eating eggs, you can make use of them. That's great. But those are the things you have to have. I mean, you really have to have them. You could do without the pine shavings if you wanted to just use all straw, but they're about the same cost. So mixing in those pine shavings in their sleeping area really helps keep the smell down, keeps the bugs away, and just helps absorb the moisture. It absorbs the moisture. It absorbs the moisture a lot better than the straw does. The straw obviously you need for their laying area, and for I like to sprinkle it throughout their coop area, their roost area, because it does help keep it clean. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments. We can get as simple as you want or as complicated as you want with these chickens. As you can see, I got them. I introduced them to my dogs. My dogs don't eat them, so they're fine. They're all friends. Which brings me to my last point. If you have dogs and you decide to let your chickens free range like I have decided to do, your dogs are probably going to eat the chicken poop. They like chicken poop. So you just got to try to break them of it. It's not really going to hurt them. They can eat too much. That's the problem, you know. So if you only have one small dog, they could eat too much. So you really want to try to stay on top of your dogs and kind of just yell at them a little bit and make sure they don't eat too much of it. Hopefully they don't eat any. I know it sounds gross, but you know, it is what it is. They're gonna eat it. So just do your best. Hopefully you get a good dog that won't eat it. But like I said, if you're gonna free range your chickens like we do, make sure you are ready for that. Another thing, let's talk about fencing. A regular fence is more than enough for these chickens. They're not going to go away from where they get fed. So what we did is we kept them in that coop for 2 weeks, and then we released them. And at first we just kind of put up a little bit of that fencing around it so they could only go so far. And then we took that off, and they have the whole yard now. So you can see I have a pretty big yard. That side goes all the way down to the front, just like this side. I have a pretty good sized yard. They stick around. We don't clip their wings or anything. I mean, if they wanted to fly over the fence, I guess they could. But they won't usually, because they want to be, they know where the bread's buttered, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, keep them in their coop for about 2 weeks, and then as you start to release them, they'll know exactly where their food is. Keep it in the coop. I take mine out now just because they're trained, you know, but I would keep your food and water in your coop for a month, 2 months even, and then never have it be too far away. I usually put it right next to the coop. I don't put it too far away from the coop, because where we live, you kind of want them to go in their coop so you can lock them up at night. Even if you live in the city, you're going to have some predators. So make sure you keep everything next to the coop. Have them go back in there at night, lock them up, and you should be good to go. I'm going to do some more detailed videos on kind of each of these topics as we go along. So if you're interested in backyard chickens, just a small number, and how we're going to take care of them, like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.